Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective. And yes, I'm here. We are having a little bit of a technical glitch, but it's a computer. So what the hell do you expect from me? So, welcome to everybody. I've got a great panel today. I'm going to have a very interesting discussion. Um, just want to wave a hand real quick, and then I'm going to start introducing you guys to my guests. It's been a while since I've been live from the home studio. Welcome to everybody. Margot, of course. Phil, good to see you. C, how you doing? Mixed Big, welcome. Margot again. And Phil again. Born a Racer, good to see you. Don Bear, welcome. 12B George, I knew you'd be here. Raymond, good to see you. Um, Benny Mavi, good to see you too. Don Bear again, look at that. Um, yeah, the globalists are trying, but they ain't going to win. Disabled Vets Perspective is here. 12B again. DPFX, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. Uh, Soylent Green, Preacher, he's here too. That's weird. Christy Ledford, how you doing? All right. Without further ado or whatever we do, I want to start bringing in my guests. First of all, a man that needs all of the praise you can give him, and you know whatever else you can give him. Preacher, welcome, sir. How are you?
How you doing?
Did you make sure your audio was off on YouTube so we don't echo?
Oh yeah, of course. Everything's 5x5 now. So.
Well, that's really disappointing. Hello, God bless America. All right, next one here. I know this one hurts me bad, but ladies and gentlemen, Pete the Patriot.
What's going on?
Whatever. Don't even start with me yet.
It's getting worse.
It's going to get worse.
Right.
I can feel it.
It's going to even get worse.
It's worse. I'm about to drop the bomb right here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further any hesitation, Fluid.
Patriot. Man. Just ruined the day.
Hold on.
Love you guys too.
Angel Cotita, how you doing? Now we have a guest of honor, but the technical issues are kind of messing with her a little bit. We are working as we speak. I'm dropping that link one more time, make sure she has it. But we are going to talk about a little known group that has an enormous amount of influence in the entire world. Yeah, it's going to go sideways quick. We haven't even started yet, but it's already kind of tipping. Hey, quit rubbing me. That
Still not getting any royalties on that one. Yeah, right.
Well, I got your royalty right over here. Anywho, the group in question is actually it's a German group, and I'm just going to preface this by saying I think if you look through history, you'll realize that World War I and World War II were both started in Germany, and the Germans have been on a quest to take over the planet for, well, hell, I guess since the beginning of their time. So their ultimate goal is to own everything, and our ultimate goal is to expose that so that they kind of lose their grip. I see we have Jolly H down here in the backstage, but still no mic yet. I'll tell you what we might do. Preacher, since you were able to get her on the horn, and when you were holding that phone up, we actually heard her quite clearly.
Okay.
My thought is this: you go ahead and call her. You put your phone up to the mic, and then we'll give her the entire floor and let her explain her deal, and then we'll go into the specific deal about this Bertelsmann group. That Bertelsmann is who we're going to be talking about, and let her explain what she's seen, and then we will tear the company apart and explain what we know about it. Does that sound like it'll work to y'all?
Yeah. I'll just mute my mic for right now. Let me get her on the phone.
Warped Hollywood Squares. Yes.
I just noticed I say Painful Truth Podcast on there.
That right down there is the worst one.
That's the channel that I do my podcasts on. I did a podcast yesterday and I forgot to change the name.
It is so appropriate.
Yes. PTP.
At least the painful part.
At least we know the truth.
Yeah.
No matter how painful it is, at least we know what it is.
Absolutely.
See,
Absolutely.
That's what we need.
So, did you guys hear we got a new president?
All right, guys.
No, we don't.
What?
All right, guys.
No, we
I have her on the phone. Let's see if
Okay.
everybody can hear her. Can you say something, Jolly?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, that sounds good.
Hello. All right. What I want to do is I want to give you Oh no, you sound beautiful. I want to give you as much time as you'd like or you'd need, and let you explain what exactly went on with you and the Bertelsmann Group. So the floor is yours. Take your time. Tell us what you got, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. So, I started working if I can give a little backstory that will maybe help tie some things together as well. But I started working in higher education in 2010, and I worked for an organization actually owned by another huge Goldman Sachs. They have a big part of this as well, but I did not know at the time because I was, working full time, and you're basically brainwashed while you're at these companies. Looking back, I know that that's what happens with a lot of these people. But higher education has been my thing for, I guess it's been 12 years. In 2000 and I would say 2014, I went to work for a company called Hot Chalk. Now, they are a startup company out of Silicon Valley, California. The CEO started the company in 2004, and what it was basically we took we worked with Concordia, Portland, Concordia, Nebraska. We worked with tons of colleges across the United States, and we built their online programs. So we would basically help the brick and mortar schools with their online processes and building curriculum from ground up as well. So I was there in 2014. I started there. 2015, early 2015, our CEO had a meeting with us, and we had this big fancy meeting at a hotel in Phoenix. So this is where the company is based out of still. 2015, he went away on a trip to Germany, and then he came back. And when he came back, I remember thinking, he has definitely changed. There's something about him that's different. And so we had this big fancy, meeting for 3 days. And he basically told us that when he flew out to Germany, he had this whole story about how he had to meet these people in a dark bar. And the point of all of this was that he was selling the company for a lot of money. And so he said, over the course of the next few months, we're going to be basically meeting your new bosses, and they will, they're going to come meet you, and you guys are going to have a chance to meet them. And everything was weird from that point on. He was very stressed. He seemed very rattled. And so finally, when they came to Phoenix, there were two brothers. One of, they own Bertelsmann Education. Under Bertelsmann's, there's all media, there's all education, there's all healthcare, and they've been running the show since, after World War II. So when they came out to Phoenix to give this big presentation in front of us, there were two of them that presented. They're the heads of, they're supposedly brothers, but I don't know. So during this meeting, we were locked in a building. There were approximately 150 of us in there. We were locked in the building, which we thought was odd. And there were bodyguards, these big tall bodyguards everywhere, and we were all supposed to dress up and look our best, and they were going all out for this thing. So we're locked in the building, and these guys come up on this stage, and they're talking to us about, they're from Germany, we own BMG Music, we own all these things. And what they said also, I was sitting next to my friend, Jenny, and she kind of looked at me. We're like, this is a very weird vibe. This is a very weird feeling. And I was like, the energy in the room immediately changed when they walked in. And I was looking directly at the one that I mentioned last night. And that's what basically changed me and shocked me. I've never seen anything like it. So what he had said to us, he said, well, we're here and we're going to be taking over education in America as you know it. And so I literally, once I looked at this person, I started noticing his eyes were blinking a different way. How they go up, we blink up and down. These things were blinking the opposite way. And that was the first time I'd ever seen that. And so immediately, he locked eyes with me. And I thought in my head, what do these people know about education in America? And he literally was looking into me, and he said, you're probably wondering, what do we know about education in America? Everything that was in my mind, he was basically reading it. So it was very scary, and I had to learn. Immediately I knew I was being manipulated by something that was not human. And it's hard to explain, and I know people might not believe it or think it's far-fetched. I know what I saw, and my yes is my yes, my no is my no. I am firm in what I saw. At that point, my friend Jenny, who was sitting next to me, said, what in the heck is this? And I'm like, I don't know, but I have to control my breathing right now, and I have to control what I'm thinking, because this man is reading my mind. So what they said was that they own 75% of the world. They even own most of China. They owned our government. And they said, in 5 to 8 years, we are coming back to the United States, and we're going to take over education. You will not have a choice. Nobody will have a choice in the matter. It will be like school in Germany. So those that have a graduate degree or a master's degree or higher than a master's degree will be in charge of those that don't have a degree. And at the time, I didn't really understand, I'd never heard the word re-education camps. I'm very naive. I had no idea. So I was like, this is super weird. And he said, and it will be free. It will be free, but it will be mandatory. There will be no advance or buts. Nobody will have a choice. So I was thinking...
Yeah, they're going to indoctrinate based on their propaganda. That's what their goal is.
Yeah. So they said, you will have no choice. Then they basically left. So after that meeting, our company went from... So that was approximately 2015 in November-ish. From that point until 2016 in April, when we were all laid off, there were 150 of us laid off, right before we were, vetted for our stock options. So I was happy as a clam on high tide, because I said, I'm out of here. This place, I left there not being able to talk. I had a stroke during that time, and I didn't get I couldn't talk for 2 or 3 months. So getting, I haven't fully recovered, it all didn't come back from that point. And there was just a lot that went on. And I really, truly, honestly think that these are the lizards that people talk about. But I think that they are synthetically... They found a way. Their AI is so sophisticated, people don't understand. the way, I think they found a way to synthetically cover up what is truly underneath there. And I know that sounds far-fetched. Maybe some people get that. A lot of people don't, but there's been so many things in my life that have tied up to this point. That's all that this is the explanation. And I've prayed about it, and God has shown me this is what this is about, basically.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Who's got the echo? Somebody's got YouTube on.
You might be hearing the echo through the cell phone.
There you go. Through the cell phone.
The thing is, I'm only putting on my thin hat as a pure jest, not any offense to you, but everybody that follows my channel knows what this is about. When I start talking about things that are absolute facts, but because of, algorithms and photo scanning and things that they do on YouTube, I put on a certain little something rather, just so, when they look at me, they go, oh, this guy's just full of crap. He's just doing this to be a theorist. But what you are talking about and what it associates with is the MK Zeta program. It's part of the MK series. And everybody knows about MK Ultra, which is the mind control. And some people even know about MK Delta, which is basically a military version of it for programming soldiers to do things that are basically guaranteed death. They work with them in these programs to do that in the Delta program. But many people are not aware of the Zeta program. And the Zeta program is the creation of soulless humans. And I've gone over this before on my channel, and they have been doing this since the early 60s. And when they were exposed doing these programs, they created a word called conspiracy theory, because they needed to be able to discredit anybody that was able to research their material, and they were being forced under the Freedom of Information Act to make the information available. So they did. Now, anybody who talks about it, even though it's written and you can access it, the word conspiracy theory is used to shut that person down and to turn everybody off so that they just quit listening. And it has worked successfully for years. But what you're talking about is the living, breathing result of the MK Zeta program.
Well, and if I can share a little bit about birth and early in life, I was actually adopted. My grandfather, my biological grandfather, was a Scottish Rite Freemason. The only stories that I've ever been able to get out of my birth family, the ones that I have been able to meet, they said it was too shocking for them to talk about my birth. My biological aunt did tell me that while she was in the room, they did try and stop my heart 2 times. The third time they gave up. And so the family that I was adopted into, they were also society. And I was reminded my entire life, we bought you for $1,500. We're going to get our ROI. And I've been able to connect just because I think my researching and my thirst for knowledge of what is going on and what has happened comes from me trying to find my family in the beginning. At 7 years old, I was searching for my family. And all of it kind of ties together to this one incident that happened in 2015. Well, after we got laid off, there were I know it was gang stalking, and I know that the things that they're capable of doing, it happened. I ended up homeless. It was a horrific, couple of years, but I grew from it. And in 2018, I will say I was going to commit suicide, and I cried out to God, and I said, please show me yourself, please, because I am done. And he did. And so from that point forward, reading the Bible, I understand it now. I can see exactly what it's about. And I know they try to steal the souls of people. I understand how they do try to steal the souls from people, and how the God, they're after that God DNA type thing,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Well, what the thing is, I want to get everybody in on this panel in a second here, but just the one thing about the Soulless Humans Project under the MK Zeta is what they've done accidentally, which turned out to be kind of in the favor of humanity, was they proved a thing called the spark of life. What they did was, when they were starting these experiments, they would take a human egg and human sperm, and they would put them together, and at that point of contact, they would get a flash of light. And that proved the light of God in their experiments, which probably pissed them off, because their whole mission was to get rid of that. But ultimately, they figured out how to do that contact without the spark. And that's where they've come up with the Soulless Humans. But the experiment proved one thing that science had been trying to prove for a long time. It's just the wrong people got that information. But I want to go around the board real quick. Just then we'll get back to Jolly here. Preacher, what is your thought on what she's talking about here?
Well, like me and Mrs. Preach, we were doing some research on everything last night on this, and it's been going on for a lot longer than what she's even coming out with. I mean, it affected Mrs. Preacher's job and everything else. I mean, this company has come in and bought a lot of media and publishing. As far as the point with the soulless humans, I absolutely 100% agree on that. The scientists proved that God exists, and now they're trying to eradicate that by making these godless humans.
Yeah, and they're unfortunately they're very good at it. Fluid Pour, how about you? Give me what you think about things going on.
It's all too uncanny, but it's truth. There's no other way to. I mean, the evidence is all there. We know it's a German takeover, the Nazi Third Reich. This is my take on it.
Well, it's
these companies.
Yeah, it's the Fourth Reich.
Not the Fourth Reich.
Yeah.
It's the remnant of the Third Reich. Some of them which are still alive, Soros, so on and so forth. I think it's all intertwined in the move of socialism, 1984, COVID, 1984. The whole plan to take over everything. And I'm sorry she had to go.
And
she's a fighter. And
I'm glad she's part of our team now, because we need people like this, and she's got a reason to be here. You found your reason to be here because of all of us. This Patriot family is growing.
You're welcome to the circle.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been searching for 42 years, and searching for answers and searching for what is this. I've even searched, the names of programs, which I've dug deep into those. I won't say the agencies on the phone, but I've dug deep into all of the information that is out there now, and have just found so much stuff. I mean, I have boxes and boxes of information that I've printed out from reliable sources. I mean, it's all open source. It's all out there if people look for it. I haven't filed any FOIA requests or anything like that, but I've been able to come up based with my upbringing and things that I know that I did. I was a little kid stuck in a basement working on programming computers when I was growing up. And I also had when I was in 10th grade, I had a needle injected into my right eye for really no reason. That my adoptive parents, I know, were in on it too. And I left home at 18, and I refused to be a part of the whole shenanigans. And these people exist. These what people want to call lizard people, they do exist. And their souls are not, they don't have a soul. That's what it is. And I can see right through them.
Right.
And so
what do you think?
My entire family for this. Yeah. So.
Well, you've got another family now, so I wouldn't even sweat it. Many of us have had our own families turned against us because of our thinking and or the way we do things, and that's unfortunately the new world we live in. But Mr. Painful Truth Podcast, what is your
Yeah.
thought on the whole thing?
Um, I could put some stuff into perspective here if you want to give me a minute.
It's already in the disabled vet's perspective, but you go ahead.
Okay. All right. This company is an octopus. Okay. It has 8 different entities, including the main entity. So let's just really quick go over what these entities are involved in. Okay. The RTL group.
Okay.
The RTL group under the Bertelsmann name, and these are all under the Bertelsmann name, is TV and radio. TV and radio. Penguin Random House. 600 million publications. The world's largest book trader and publisher.
That's where Mrs. Preach worked.
Okay. All right. G plus J. Gunnar and Gar are involved in more than 20 countries with digital media, websites, and magazines. Okay, you got BMG, which is a music company. Arvado, which offers solutions to 21st century problems. Okay, so that company right there is nothing but a think tank. Then you have the Bertelsmann Printing Group that prints products for major companies, including all advertising brochures in magazines and in catalogs. And then you have the Education Group offering focused in the health technology and teacher education sectors. And then you have, to top it all off, the Bertelsmann Investment Group, which is the money end of it. So if you put that into perspective, this company has its hands in every aspect of what we see, what we learn, what we read, what we hear, the music we listen to, and the quantity that we listen to it. That's a little strange, isn't it?
Right.
And if you go on their website, like some of the stuff you'll read there, like the story and the background and history of the family, so they make it look like, oh, woe is us, we suffered this, and then, this happened and this happened. So they give you like a time frame rundown of when all of their projects were started and all of this, but then they twist it just like they twist the media, and they're the propaganda kings of the world.
Well, so, of course they're the propaganda kings. They have every outlet to do propaganda. I mean,
exactly.
Every outlet to do propaganda.
And they're also professionals at it.
Now, I'm sure since we all knew we were
so
going
they're
to do
a
this.
Sixth generation. My bosses were a 6th generation Nazi family.
Yeah, since we all knew we were going to do this, we all did a little bit of research. The main person who started this company, and I guess the patriarch of the family, Reinhard Mohn, M-O-H-N, Reinhard Mohn. Do you know where he got his education for business? Does anybody know?
No.
No? Okay,
I'm
well,
not
he was a prisoner of war in 1943. The Americans captured him fighting in the Africa campaign. He was a Nazi. He was a Wehrmacht soldier. And he was captured and sent to the United States to be in a prison camp where he learned English, he learned business, he learned how the American way of life was lived. And in 1947, he was released from the prison camp and took all that education that we gave him, along with his Wehrmacht training and created a conglomerate to destroy the country that captured him. Isn't that just make a wonderful story?
Well, it just adds to another story because we brought all of the professional Nazi scientists that did experiments on the captive people.
Absolutely.
We brought all these people to our country and gave them a beautiful new life. And,
Yes.
we put them in every aspect of our government, every aspect of our classification processes. I mean, these tentacles or testicles, as they were, are literally in every aspect of our lives.
But
And
we're forgetting one thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, Alex. Well, I do mean to interrupt you, but
No,
that's besides
please.
the point.
I know you do.
We're forgetting one thing. The people who made this possible. What's the operation that helped the Nazis? What was it called?
Oh, you talking about paperclip? I've never heard of
The
it.
people who made that operation possible, and who made people like Reinhard Mann possible, was the Vatican. The Vatican was the pipeline, was the funder, was the person, the entity who protected the rat lines that came out of Europe to bring those people here, along with
Because
other
they actually
prominent
married.
Nazis.
They married into the Rothschilds. They merged.
Yeah.
And the Rothschilds and these guys merged together.
All we have to
By
do is
marriage.
look at the history. Look at the history.
Exactly.
The history of
But you also have to trace them.
Yes, of Germany.
They all go
goes
back to the original 13 bloodlines.
Thank you
They
very
go
much.
all the
I
way
would say
back to the
original
black
history
nobility.
goes back. Yeah.
There's a really great book. Some of it I take with a grain of salt, and it's a little dense, but it's called Empire Beneath the Ice: How the Nazis Won World War II. It's by Stephen Quayle. For people that don't know, the operations and a lot of those things that went on, there's a lot of talks about Stargates, Hollow Earth and stuff, but it does talk a lot about how they were, how they became.
They can't even come to a consensus that Hitler died in 1945.
No, he lived out a
Come
very
to
nice
that
life.
consensus.
He lived out a good life in South America. That's right.
Yes, he
More than
did.
likely, it was Argentina in 1958. There's a lot of evidence for that.
Yeah.
But they don't want to. The Third Reich has not ceased to exist. Well, you're calling it the Fourth
AI
Reich,
and all of that.
we're not really speaking truth, because the Third Reich still exists. There are people today that are still Nazis,
Yep.
that are still adamant Nazis.
Soros.
Okay, they're in there. He wasn't a Nazi. He was a confused child.
He was a
He
brown
wasn't a
shirt.
Nazi.
Yeah.
Okay, George Soros wasn't a Nazi. He was 14 years old when the Germans took over Hungary. Okay, he did what he did to save his life. That's all he did. All that shit that you see on the internet with him in the SS uniform, that's all a bunch of bullshit. That has nothing
Yeah, he
to
was
do
a
with
brown
anything.
shirt.
Huh?
He was trained by them. He was trained.
He was a brown shirt.
Yeah.
He
Which makes
got
him a
his
Nazi.
ideology at 14, 15, and 16 from them.
Right.
He
they
wasn't
brain
in the
melted his
Wehrmacht. He
ass.
wasn't in the SS. He
I'm
developed
not
an
saying he was
ideology.
in the SS. I didn't say
Right?
that.
No,
I said
but
he was
that's
a
on the
Nazi.
internet. That's on the internet. You see him with that nice, like those pictures that they take, with the nice SS uniform and stuff like that. That's not him. Now, his
He's like the
ideology,
poster boy they put out there so everybody focuses on him.
yes,
Just
his
like when they
ideology.
talk about, Soros didn't let us talk on the news and he cut us
Right.
off. So everybody just focuses on Soros. They're not focusing on these people that are hiding in the background,
No,
that have
No.
infiltrated our entire United States.
Well, they gotta have their puppets.
they got to make their demons, is right. Because the people who are in the background are the ones that are actually pulling the strings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sure Alex will agree with. I'm sure everybody will agree with me. It's corporations
Probably not.
who run this stuff. It's not the U.S. government. It's not our elected officials. It's not any of that stuff. It's corporations who run this. And
We
this
just smile
corporation
and
right here,
nod our heads when Pete talks.
right?
Yeah.
Just go like this.
They're into higher
Just so I know
education
you agree with
and they're
me.
into the media. They want education because they want our children.
That's
That's
the
what
main
this whole
purpose.
thing has been about, with having students go to school online
It's all
so
about
they can
kids.
monitor them through Zoom, so they can control, it's the KAHN, KAHN program, which also is part of this tentacle system. They want to monitor the children. They want to, STEM them, with STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. They want to make sure that they can control these kids, and the parents don't know any better. So they're like, oh yeah, these STEM programs are great. Robotics are great. I want my kid to be attached to robotics. And it's like, no.
Yeah. No.
She
No.
is so
The
right.
hunter, and he does not do that stuff. And I'm like, heck no, no, this is absolutely absurd. Like, over my dead body.
Well,
It's
one thing
all,
the people
it's
in
all
the
ever been about the children. That's all it is.
one thing
You get
About the
control of the
people in the
children,
chat
you control the future.
they need the people in the chat. You guys need to understand. We are not defending George Soros. Everybody
hell
knows that he
no.
is a king of the king
Hell
dicks.
no.
So we're just saying that when he was young, they got to
No.
him. And as
No,
he
and
has
you know
become
what?
older, his ideology is in his
His-
brain, and he has
Followed.
lived up
Yes.
to the evil that he was taught at a young age.
Thank
Hence,
you.
he's a Nazi. Thank you.
Yeah. He turned into a
It's just
Nazi.
like the movie stars and the singers. They're taught one way. They were brainwashed. They were MK Ultra, and yeah,
Big time.
sometimes I feel bad for some of these people that have gone through this crap, because I get it. A lot of people are not able to say no. A lot of people aren't able to walk away because they will have nothing. They will be homeless. They will be ridiculed. They will be stalked. They will be killed. And that is not an easy path to travel that's the whole thing is about children. If we're about the children, then you have to have some heart for your fellow mankind that went through these programs, because this has affected all of us in some way. Some people more severe, and I've always had a feeling the children and the military, they've always been tied. Now, you get good people in places, you get bad people in places, but now we've come together. Now we can realize, what happened, and we can talk about it, and hopefully people can learn from this, because what has been put out there with some of these video broadcasters, they've gotten it completely wrong. When it comes to the children, everybody thinks that they're this whole, engineering and this stuff with the children, save the children, is all about them chopping them up and eating them. No, they're harvesting all of us through the air. In the Bible, what is Satan? Satan is the prince of air. The prince of air is what? Media. That's what they're doing. They're harvesting people without them even knowing it. And those of us that know it have to fight it every day.
Does it pique anybody's curiosity why the climate for the last 30 years has been such a forefront? It's been in the forefront. Why the climate needs to be controlled? What happens
Because there
when
are
you
certain
control the
entities
climate?
that exist here that can't handle the climate as it is.
Exactly.
You control the climate, you control the food, you control the weather, you control the ability to breathe, you control the ability to drink, eat, they control
Yes.
you.
They
They control
control
the climate, they control you.
And what
Yep.
what Fluid Pour is saying, what she's saying is very accurate, because you got to get them when they're young. Look who they put in there. Look who they put in there now to
Fernberg.
tell us about climate change.
Kids.
Alexandria.
You talking about
Cortez,
horse
right? A young, vibrant, good-looking, except for the teeth, good-looking woman, right? She's not bad-looking.
You have issues. You really
She
do
has
have
issues.
issues, Pete.
I do. I'm just saying. But
Grow up and let
she's
them
over
out.
there. She's over there with her little controller. She's playing Among Us on Twitch, and she's doing. She is the weapon of choice for the children. Get the children on
Yeah.
our side.
Oh,
Let's talk
here's
about
something
climate
that's-
change. It is so
here's something
obvious to me. It's
interesting.
painful. It's painful.
well, you're painful to me too, but that's different video. But um, the one thing that I find interesting, and this is based on the way I look at things in humanity. Um, you can have somebody that is a decent looking human being, but then when you look at them, they are so desperately ugly because
Oh yeah.
you see this
Right.
aura, and they are, yeah. I mean, that's something that's always got my
you can't hide the beauty of the soul, no matter how hard you
right.
try.
No, but you can mask
And
Are
it.
you
growing
playing
up,
with your boobs over there,
growing
Fluid?
up watching movies and sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, like talking about beautiful people or Hollywood and stuff. Growing up, I could not watch movies. I couldn't stand them. I don't know why I couldn't watch TV. So a lot of these, like most movies that people mention, I have no idea what they were. But now that I'm seeing the world as it's playing out, when people talk about movies or The Matrix or whatever, I'm like, that's totally why I think I didn't watch it, because I knew what the world was about at a young age, and I just couldn't explain it, and I wasn't able to because I was shut down from my parents from doing so. But if I would have watched those movies, it would have double. I think it may have taken a wrong turn, or I don't know. I just think,
Well,
yeah, I don't know why I brought
That's
that up.
fascinating.
But talking about it.
The fascinating point is that they've been telling us the truth through the movies all the time. All
That's
along,
it.
they've been telling us the truth on both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
On both
They-
sides.
That's the one rule of the Illuminati. They can do anything they want to humanity, but they have to tell them first. But the problem is people are blind, and they look right at what their plans are, and they just don't see it because they've perfected this propaganda since probably the 1920s. Before we went to World War II, they started working with propaganda so that they could move masses in one direction. And the same thing's been done ever since. The movies, the programming in our media, the everything that we see is somehow an illusion. And yeah, I mean, everything they do, they show us.
And it is
We
up
just
to the
don't see
people
it.
then to believe it and go with it, or it is up to them then to deny it and fight against it and know what's right and wrong. But most people just go
Right.
with it anyway because it's easier to do that. But in the end, it's not going to be easier. In the end, we know where it leads.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the downfall of society right here.
Oh, exactly.
Be careful where you're
This is
pointing
the
that thing, Pete.
Yeah, this is the
I know.
downfall of society. This
I don't
is the
think
new
Pete should allow to
babysitter.
have one.
This is the new babysitter. This is the new attention getter.
There's your zombie.
Your kid's crying.
Yep.
Give them one of these.
Yeah.
Let them
Call the
play.
cell
Let them
phone
play a
for a
video
reason
game.
because you'll be in a cell because of it.
There's your zombie apocalypse right there. People can't survive without it.
Yeah. What's going to happen if
It is.
the internet goes down?
There are many people that will literally die
Yes,
because
literally.
their,
Yeah, be
their
mass
entire
panic.
life.
Cats and dogs will
Yeah.
live together in harmony. Yeah,
Dogs and
it's
cats
just
will-
chaos.
Yeah.
Total mayhem.
Total hysteria. But this is
Yeah,
this
it's-
is what a corporation like you were talking about here, who has roots in the Third Reich. If it wasn't for the Third Reich, this corporation would not exist. Think about that.
Is it possibly scriptural as well as the tree that was hewn down in the book of Daniel, but its roots were left in the earth?
Yep.
Well, the very quick answer to that is this whole thing is biblical, but it's just a matter of if people realize that.
Eyes
So,
No.
to see and ears to hear, man. The choice to know is ours. It's what you do
Right.
with that free will that makes you right or left or good or evil.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, like, it's a hard truth to swallow, but it's apathy, laziness is probably 99% of the reason that we are in the situation we're in right now, because people don't educate themselves.
Well, it's so easy to deny everything and stay out of the loop too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deny.
It's so easy
Well-
to deny everything.
cognitive
As far as the cell phone smashing event, the problem that I have with smashing the cell phones now is I believe that my calling in life is what I'm doing right now, which means the cell phone is my leash. But I'm using the cell phone as a tool against the system that created the cell phone to be the leash. And the only way I can get the same people that are obsessed with their cell phones are the same people that watch me tell them what's going on in this world through that cell phone.
All about what you do with the tech.
Yeah.
Right.
Any technology that it controls your life and you can't get off of it, and you're not like listening to the right people and taking their advice, like you guys talking to people, then it can take you down real quick. But if it's being used to spread the word of God and to spread the truth like you guys have been doing, because we're located all over the world and all over the country, then that's how we have to use it against them.
I thank God that I was chosen to be on this side.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can't picture myself any other way.
Nope.
You know, I'm not one of these people that's going to walk to the ditch and calmly wait for the rounds to be fired at me as I fall in.
No,
we're
you're
Americans.
not going to get me to bow. I'll never bow.
We don't back down. We don't run away. We run for it, and we meet it head on.
These colors don't run.
Dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery any day of the week.
Any day of the week. Any day of the week.
This
Like I said, I'm going to be the one
awakening.
that's next to the boxcar dead.
Yep.
Because I told the guy I'm not going in the boxcar and beat the shit out of him in the process.
And I'm going to be the one that's going to use you as a human shield so I can get through.
That's fine, brother.
Definitely.
If I'm dead, you use me all
Pick
you
my ass
want.
up and do that.
Good luck picking him up.
Yeah, good luck picking me up is
People
right.
ask me, how do you get in? How do you go anywhere? I go everywhere. When I walk in and they chase me down and say, you have to wear a mask, I simply say, no. And I keep walking.
And it's amazing how that works, isn't it?
They can't do anything.
Yeah.
We haven't worn a mask since the beginning of this.
It's amazing how that works. You just say, no.
It's taken a while to try to be patient and to pray for these people who are wearing masks. But in the beginning, I was angry. I mean, I was walking through the grocery store like, what is wrong with these people? You know?
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to be much more patient and just pray and do what I got to do.
It just teaches you how much so many people are still sleeping. That's all it is.
Well, that's what they depend on. That's what they depend on.
Thing
They don't count
you
on
guys
Chris
know that I
Cuomo's
can be. What's that?
As Chris Cuomo says, you don't need God anymore. We can show you what you need to see. We can teach you what you need to know, and we will feed you what you need to eat.
You got too much free time to be listening to him.
Chris Cuomo?
Yeah,
You gotta
his
listen
brother's
to
trying
both
to hide
sides
everything
with the
in New
full
York
perspective.
City too. His brother
Well,
is
see,
he tried to hide all of the adoptee birth records because he didn't want those to come out, because then the truth would come out. And I fought Cuomo in New York with about thousands of other adoptees, trying to have them open the bill so that adoptees could know who they are. And he did the same thing with. So when this all came out with the COVID in the nursing homes, I'm like, they're doing the same thing they did to adoptees at birth. They're hiding their records. They're doing things to them. And now they're doing them to the elderly. And they're killing the elderly. And they're saying that it's COVID. And it's not.
Well, they needed all the votes. They needed all those votes.
Well, here's the thing. It's a proven fact. Even their precious Dr. Fauci wrote this back in 2008 with the Spanish flu. It wasn't the Spanish flu that killed everybody. It was the mask that they made them wear because they were getting bacterial pneumonia. So the mask is what's going to go on to the second wave for the lockdown.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
Well,
Or
one
we should
thing
call
about
it the
these
Google
masks,
flu or something, or the, put a new name on that.
Is there one of your moderators who can put my my YouTube link in there in the chat? I can't do it through
I
the
can't
StreamYards here.
do it either.
Yeah, I don't have it here.
please, if my moderators wouldn't mind, I would appreciate you going ahead and put the links in there. That would help, because
Actually, put all three of our links in there.
Please
would
and
help.
thank you.
Well, not all
Yeah.
three, but not maybe at least 2 out of 3. But you guys can
Don't
decide.
put Disabled Vets Perspective link in there.
No, we don't even want to listen to that guy anymore.
No.
No, I don't want to
Was
listen
it
to that
disabled
either.
vet
But
perspective one night who said if I was listening to your guys' show and then disabled vet, I looked through all your videos one night after Fluid Pour had recommended you, and I was like, oh man, I just went through all of your videos and was watching all of them, and I don't know if it was you that said if they ever take me into a camp, they're going to want to kick me out like the minute I get in there because I'm going to make it such hell for them.
CP.
I'm like, I'm with you. I'll be one of those too. I will be so annoying, and so they'll say, get her out of here.
CP, everybody's blaming you for everything, but we just found out through her it's Fluid Pour's fault.
Yeah.
right. Well, here's
It
the
always
thing.
is.
In the military,
is.
they taught us the first thing they told us is first evade and then escape. The first thing you do is avoid being caught. But should you get caught, you make it your mission in life to get out of said situation, no matter what it takes. And so I've always lived by that. I'm not good at, people don't do well putting me somewhere and telling me stay. They end up with me outside going, what were you telling me to stay for? What was that about? I can't remember, but yeah, I've always lived by that.
I got a story about that, Alex, but I will keep that to myself. I've met your mother.
Tinfoil hat and get out of here.
I've met your mother. Okay.
I would be dancing fool, like making fun of them. Like, just, I don't know. I mean, we all have our ways.
Well,
Angel Lawrence says the dark winter is upon us already. We're not in a dark winter, brother. We're not in a dark winter.
Not yet.
We're not going to do that.
We don't way out.
Yes, we don't. Even if there is no way out, we're still going to think positive.
Listen, I sent you guys that video. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do a quick roundabout on that video on my channel after this. So I just want you guys to know.
Okay, so we know which channel to avoid right after this then. So, all right.
You're an ass.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, don't come to my channel. I won't tell you anything that's worth a crap.
Nah.
Well, on the truthful tip, these folks that I have right here are some of the best sources of some of the weirdest information, and you can take it and you could leave it, but you can't ignore it because what we get into is some of the real nitty gritty, some of the actualities of our government and the way that it's supposed to be compared to the way it is. We get into subjects going back into massive levels of corruption, human control, mind management.
Don't threaten us, Pete.
Pete's waving the white flag, and
you know what that is, Alex. You know what that is.
Yeah, fact, fiction, and beyond. Which I really do want to start getting back to that.
Yes,
so we need to make that plan because.
Yeah, you let me
Lisa
know when,
wants
brother.
me to do this too. Yep.
You let me know when.
It's a fun game. It's educational trivia, man. It's a good time.
Oh, no. I don't know. You never seen our Fact Fiction and Beyond show, have you?
Fact Fiction or Beyond? Isn't that the trivia show you do?
No. This was a show. This was a show Alex and Pete started out with together, and it's very informative.
Yeah,
very informative.
Good.
Pretty much basically, Pete gets on there and Alex whips his butt. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's where the tinfoil hat came from.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt myself.
Thank you, Northern Tiger, for running the link. I appreciate it. Because you know what? To be perfectly honest, Alex and I started that show because there's a lot of things that this government has done that
they just
people have put into the background, saying, "Oh, you know what? That's a conspiracy. That's bull crap. How do you believe that stuff?" And what we did was we took those conspiracy theories and we broke them down point by point. And a lot of people would say, "Oh shit,
maybe I
remember that happening. I remember that happening."
My favorite show that I got saved on mine is when y'all were talking about Bigfoot and then you took off your shoe.
Yeah,
that was some truth, buddy.
That was truth right there. See, man. That's what we do. Truth. Yep.
Don't poke the Sasquatch.
Yeah. So, Alex, you let me know when. You let me know when, and I'll work something up. We'll do something.
All right. Well, we're going to hear it here on Disabled Vets Perspective first. Starting next Wednesday night, we are going to come back to Fact, Fiction, and Beyond. And we'll have to find a subject that is absolutely trouser dropping because we haven't been at it for a while. So,
you got a big shoes to fill on this because a lot of stuff's been dropping.
Yeah.
Well, we don't talk about it.
Wait until you hear about the program that I just discovered that Trump put in 2018.
You're talking about the hammer, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that anyway. So
the hammer and the scorecard.
I know which one you're talking about.
Hammer and scorecard. Look it up.
Well, all right. So Jolly, what we're going to do now.
Hold on, guys. Jolly, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just thank you guys for allowing me to have my voice heard and out here. And I know I maybe conveyed it a little bit not clear, but at least it's off my chest and it's out there. And you guys, others are out here that know what I'm talking about. So I just I felt very alone for the past 5 years. And so I appreciate you guys very much. And I thank you.
Well, I won't speak for Pete and Alex there or Fluidport, but as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome to jump in on the panel anytime.
You speak for us every other time. What makes now any different?
Because I'm trying to be polite.
I was wondering about that myself. No, Jolly, anytime you have something more to add, you are more than welcome to join us. You put something in the chat, and our shows always go sideways, so we never really have something that we focus on entirely the whole time. So if you have a subject that you want to get off your chest, then you just write in the chat, and I drop the link, and you can jump in here and tell me what you got. I'm sure that I can speak for everybody, and they would do the same thing for you, because it's all about us getting the information out to the people. And if there's something pressing and we don't know it, then it's up to you guys to jump in here and get that information out for us. But we've almost been on for an hour, and I want to take a minute, and I want to thank you very much, Jolly, for joining us, for getting us information out. This is important. We need to know who's pulling the strings in our society, because when the time comes and we have to take the society back, we have to know where our targets are. So what you've done for us I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate you giving us an hour of your time, and God bless you. You help a lot.
Proud of you.
I also want to thank all the patriots in the chat, because without a lot of their help, we don't get a lot of information. And the patriots in this chat, I tell you what, they're outstanding and giving us information and leads for us to do our investigations on.
Hey, Disabled Vet, Northern Tiger is asking in the chat, can you explain the difference, can you explain between the Great Reset from the left?
Well, sort of.
Basically, why is the left and the right sound similar on the Great Reset?
Well, the problem is that the Great Reset on the left has more to do with consolidation of control, and the reset on the right has more to do with independence of humanity. So, I mean, that's just the gist of it. That's something that we could probably do a whole video on, and we should, because people need to know what the difference is. If you're somebody on the left or you're leaning left, you need to know both sides of that coin, and that's a good subject to do for the next live show for sure.
Yeah, the left's reset is for the elite. The right's reset is for the people. That's in a nutshell.
That's what I've been trying to think over in my head, and now I understand the reset on both sides. With talking with Fluidport a little bit, with reset, I wasn't understanding why everybody was so for the reset. Well, the reset on the left is completely demonic and horrible, and people need to understand what that is about.
Right. It's completely different
on the
from
left,
what they tell us it is.
Right. On the left, it consists of a dystopian euphoria with only 500 million people in it worldwide.
I like
So
when
their
Alex
goal
pulls out
is
the
to
encyclopedia.
destroy. I'm sorry, did you not understand the words? Should I reduce my vocabulary to your level? But
I didn't get that memo yet.
the point, they want a world with many less people in it, and the right wants a world where everybody can be children of God, and we can all flourish and we can all exist. So those are two main differences. But all right, so we've been an hour now. I want to take one round around the room, and I want to let you guys give some closing arguments or disputes or grievances or whatever. You know, Pete's probably got a few of those. But Preacher, what did you think about today?
Well, I mean, what can I say about today? Today's been a very roller coaster ride. I'm glad that I'm with you guys on this. I'm glad that we got Jolly in on this. We just got to keep our faith. We gotta pray. We got to pray for our president.
Hello.
I mean, he's in this fight all by himself, because it looks like even his own cabinet's against him. So
Yes,
I mean, he's fighting this fight for us, and he's all by himself. So we definitely need to start praying for him and pray hard.
Need to pray for all of them.
Awesome.
Yes.
Fluid Pour, you got something on the way out? I know you got a show you're gonna pop up after this, so we need to make sure that your link is in the chat so people can jump over there and check you out.
I'm going to watch that video. It's going to take about 12 minutes to watch that video again, and then I'll do a little synopsis about it. Like Preacher was saying, you know, there was a little Indian preacher. His name is Sundar Selvara.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. And I watched a vision of, he explained a vision about how Trump was on his knees in the White House crying, God, am I the only one? Am I the only one? Is there no one that can help me? Yes, we're all here, and we all have to pray for him, pray with him. He's got angels protecting him, yes. But you've got a side of evil that knows that they're on their last limb right now, and if they don't win this, they're dead, literally.
Right. And if we don't win this,
and if we don't win this, we're dead. We know.
It literally is a life and death situation.
This is it.
Yeah. All right, Pete, go ahead and finish it up. Because I know
well, we got Jolly too. We got to give Jolly her time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Well,
yes,
the only thing I want to say is that nothing is set in stone. We're still in this fight. We're still going to be in this fight. Even if this fight doesn't go our way, we're still going to be in the fight. So to quote somebody famous on YouTube, YouTube, stay in the fight.
Wrong.
Stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight.
I just wanted to say that I caught you on a misspeak again, and you said nothing's carved in stone except, you know, there's a little thing called the Ten Commandments, but that's none of my business. I'm sure you meant what you said. So
was this election on the Ten Commandments? Nothing is carved in stone yet. What I'm talking about is Joe Biden is president.
All right, Jolly, do you have something you want to close out on?
Jerk.
No, I thank you. I thank you guys again. And Trump 2020. It's not over. So the
not even close.
And I haven't sung yet.
No,
so.
we're still breathing.
Believe that.
We got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
But all right, folks. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me for an hour. My chat, my mods, you guys rock the joint. You always keep the house in order, and I appreciate that. Everybody who joined us, we were up to, I think, 72 people hanging out with us today, and that's pretty amazing.
Cool.
So thank you to all of them. Thank you to my folks over there on D Live who have dropped lemons and other vehicles and things like that. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to my new followers. And with that being said, folks, let's get over to Fluid Pour and hear what he has to say. Probably isn't that important, but it might be amusing, so we want to do that. With that being said, God bless you all and stay in the fight.
Goodbye.